Any citizens forum? Nope. Todd will do the finance workshop. My name's Jerem Hack. I'm the chair on the board, and we've never met Todd, so.
I just did.
You did?
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Robin.
Craig Sievers. Nate Hayes.
Kayla Johnson.
All right, Todd, we'll turn it over to you.
All right, nice to meet you all. Can everybody see the budget update?
Yes.
Okay, so I am going to speak to activity posted through January 31, 2026. The first information I go through will be the general fund only. I'm showing the prior 2 years of actual activity on the far left. The green column here is the board adopted budget for FY26. We are in the process of working on the revised budget, but right now we have the adopted budget to look at. What we've received to date in the middle, revenues to be received between now and June 30th. And then on the far right, we have last year through January 31 of 25 and 2 years ago through January 31, 24. So the percentages here often tell us more than what the numbers do. In terms of percent of budget received this year and last year, same point in time, what percent of final we were at the same point in time, and then 2 years ago, percent of final. So those help gauge, number one, is our adopted budget accurate? Number two, anything out of whack from a collection standpoint from the federal government or the state. So right now, overall, we're at 43.3% of our budget collected. It's down compared to the prior 2 years, but in the ballpark. State aids are down compared to last year, but similar to 2 years ago. Some of this can be driven just by how the state's metering out our entitlements, and some of our entitlements are estimates, not based on actual data yet, like special ed and some things like that. But we'll keep an eye on that. Also, we'll make sure that our ADMs that the state has are up to date so that we're getting paid the proper amount of revenue throughout the year. As of June 30th, we should have received 90% of our entitlement based on our enrollment. So something we'll look at as soon as we're able to. Federal grants are at 8,600 collected, similar to where we were at last year. And this is something we'll start drawing down on Title I, Title II now that we've completed about 5 months of the year. We can't draw those funds until we've expended them. So we'll get to work on that. Property taxes are coming in very similar to the last couple of years, both as percent of budget and actual dollars. And local revenues are down compared to last year at 94,000. Last year we were at roughly 180,000. And couple contributors to that. Last year we had received 50,000 in insurance recovery funds, so that's a one-time thing. That's not going to happen this year. Miscellaneous revenues are down about 30,000, and so on. So, and again, we'll be looking at all that to see if any adjustments need to be made in the revised budget. But any questions on revenues at this point?
No, it doesn't look like.
Moving on then to expenditures. We're going to look at expenditures two ways, both by object series and also by program series. I'm not going to speak to both. I'm going to speak to the by object series. That seems to make the most sense typically. So salaries and wages and employee benefits, for the most part, we should be tracking super close to the prior 2 years. You can see wages, we are very close. We're down though compared to last year and 2 years ago. And they should be close because we have the same number of payrolls processed through January 31 of this year as we did the prior 2 years. So anything greater than a % variance means the adopted budget needs to be tweaked. So based on us being lower, I'd say the salaries budget when we do the revised budget is going to be reduced. Benefits are tracking higher. there we have some things that aren't directly tied to payroll, like unemployment, work comp, summer unemployment, and so on, that can drive that number. But just the initial look here is we're probably going to be bumping up the employee benefits budget. Purchase services are also running high. Probably need to tweak that up a little bit. Supplies are running lower at 56% of budget compared to about 65 the last 2 years. This budget's going to come down. You can see it was about 100,000 higher than where we finished last year. Equipment is also tracking quite low, so we'll have to look at that and see if there's some equipment we had planned on purchasing, furniture, building renovations, etc. But right now it looks like that budget's possibly higher than it needs to be, and other expenditures. So overall, we're tracking at 45.8% of budget. Last year we were at 47% of where we ended up. 2 years ago at 48. So it's very, very likely when we do the revised budget, this is going to come down, unless we have some significant expenditures that are going to happen between now and June that are out of the ordinary. The current variance is positive. We have $7.395 million budgeted for revenues, 7.218 in expenditures, and again, I expect this to be reduced. So the expectation is the revised budget will show revenues exceeding expenditures in the revised budget. Any questions on the general fund year to date?
No.
And then in terms of other funds, food service, community ed, and debt service, there we're just going to look at it in total revenues versus total expenditures, and how those are comparing to the prior years. So food service revenues are very similar to last year, up about $4,000. Revenues for community ed also very similar to last year, down about $1,000. And debt service revenues are up about $11,000. So everything tracking very much in line with the prior year. And on the expenditure side, food service expenditures are up about $30,000 compared to last year. Community ed spending is up about $60,000 compared to last year. And debt service very much in line with last year. So nothing out of whack there. In terms of the adopted budget, though, you can see like community ed anticipating $410,000, where last year we ended at $279. So I'd want to look at that. We are tracking low as a percent of that number, so I think that budget might be a little high. Food service and debt service both look very much in line with where we ended last year. So those are the things we'll be working through here over the next couple weeks. We'll see how meetings go. Scott and I kind of made a plan today on how we're going to attack the revised budget, so we'll see how that plays out. But I anticipate us having a revised budget very likely for the March meeting. Any questions on the budget update?
Any questions? Nope, doesn't sound like it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Yep, have a good night. Thank you, sir. All right, do we want to move? Okay. Let's turn around. All right, any board committees meet?
You can
Works Committee met too. And there was a gal there from the DNR, and there is a, I don't know what you would call it, a program that they have that we can plant trees and get money for the trees up to, what was it?
500 an acre.
500 an acre. So something that we're going to be looking at and applying for, so that we can get that done, and whether or not we're hiring the planting done or not, we're going to look at that too and see how we want to go about that, and then how much we are going to plant per year is on docket. Craig, you got anything else on that?
Not much. Specifically looking at the 40 acres just south of the school here.
Yeah.
Gonna have to figure out soil types and what trees are gonna be beneficial to plant in that area. And yeah, want to talk about that. I think we just had touched base also on the hammock garden, which we've already discussed, I think, a little bit here at prior meetings. And we do have the what day is it coming up? The event February this
Wednesday.
This week, Wednesday. Yep. It's a ski and snowshoe event right outside the school here, and if I think I have it on the time here.
4 to 6. 4 to 8.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, so encourage folks to come out and enjoy the school forest. I don't, off the top of my head, I don't have my notes with me, but I don't recall, there was other things discussed, but I can't remember right now at the meeting.
And the facilities met too, and we talked through some different things that we're looking forward to with the referendum, and windows, and just different things that we've got going on there. So was another good meeting there. So next, Superintendent Scott Fitzsimmons.
Good evening. Student count as of 2/23, my apologies on there. But as of today, 422 K-12 plus the 16 pre-K, we're up 3 students from last month. So that's good news. Construction, our Krause-Anderson contract is finalized. Widseth is close to being completed. I'll be touching base with them on Thursday of this week, and it's gone back through our attorney, so we just need to agree on a couple numbers, and we'll be good to go. Specification and bid packages are in process. Those have been shared out with the Facility and Transportation Committee. So as those get to that point where the bids are going out, of course, it's going to be coming back to the board for approval. With the bid package, with the windows, we've got our primary specs that had been talked about previously, and then we have alternate specifications for the 2 different levels of the triple pane windows as well. So the board will be able to see the actual cost differences of those bid packages to then make a determination on which direction that the district wants to go in terms of the windows, whether it's the double pane low E or triple pane. Compensatory revenue, this has been a big topic around school districts and superintendents, of course. Compensatory revenue for FY27 and forward is going to be calculated via direct certification. So direct certification means those families that receive SNAP benefits or things like that. For what this means is that for next year, we're looking at losing about $43,000 in compensatory revenue. However, things may change, but as of right now, that's what we know. And as the legislative session continues, that is one of the pieces that's being lobbied by numerous different groups in schools, because the majority of schools, because of that type of just relying on that alone, it really does change some numbers quite significantly for districts in different ways. So that brings me to March 9th and 10th. There's the day at the Capitol on March 9th is for the Minnesota School Boards Association and the Minnesota Association of School Administrators. They set up times for superintendents so that we can meet with our representatives from our area. And then a similar thing again on March 10th, but that's sponsored by the Northwest Service Cooperative and MREA, which is Minnesota Rural Education Association, so that it's more focused on what are our needs up here in the northwest part of the state. So again, it's that opportunity for us to tell our stories and to give very specific information to our representatives in the Minnesota House, so that because what they ask for are those stories, because when they hear how things impact us directly, that gives them more of that information other than just looking at sheets and notes and summaries and things like that. So we're looking forward for that opportunity. And then I'll be visiting with the board as well to find out what, if any, other items we would wish to bring when we have the opportunity for any of those conversations. Are there any questions for me at this time? Okay,
No,
thank you.
Thank you. All right, Principal Mary Merchant.
Good evening. Mid-quarter was last Friday, and grades have been updated on Synergy. Also last Thursday and Friday, Mark Mint was here. He's a Native American author, and he was here last year, but he did a different format this year, which it was honestly amazing. I stopped in a few times during the different high school presentations, and you could have heard a pin drop. And he took large groups. He didn't want to have just the small groups this time, so he just does a phenomenal job with our students. The APAC vote of concurrence, their meeting was on February 10th, so we had our board chair and superintendent sign tonight, and that says that the APAC committee is I guess in agreement and support with the activities we're doing and what they want to see continue, and lots of things going on. One thing they want to do is for each grade level, more so elementary, because high school we can group things together, but to have one particular thing that's what we do with those kids each year. So for example, the 5th graders going to the mounds. Last year Mrs. Crandall did some different kind of artifacts, and I'm going to call it kind of craft projects with the kids, and so we did more like 3 grades at a time did the same things. If some of you have kiddos that did the bear claws, they want to do per grade now, so each grade level will have something different that they focus on, and it's unique to that grade level. This spring we are looking at having, and I hope I get his name right, Rod Tim and Jeanette Major gave us his name, and he would take our kids into the school forest, and he would talk about things in the school forest and use the Ojibwe names for them, and just really make it a wonderful way to tie that into what's right here for our kids. High school coming up is going to be going curling and bowling. Last week, if you aren't aware of it, our elementary students had a big Olympics going on, and it was so cool at the ceremony because Mrs. Nylander had 3 platforms for gold, silver, and what was, to me, one of the coolest things about it was the groups that won contained kids from every single grade. So it wasn't grades competing, it was working together and then adding up their scores. It was just a wonderful time. This Friday, the high school kids will have a winter dance with 6th, 7th, and 8th grade at 6:30, and then the senior high kids at 9 o'clock. Our seniors and juniors will have a reality check, and that's March 11th in the multi-purpose gym. And I want to give a great thank you to all of our community members who really do the work behind that to get it going for our kids. And then for our juniors and seniors, to help tie it in and give it some teeth, it's going to tie into their social studies classes. Or for example, our juniors, right now it's their personal finance and careers class. So really make that a worthwhile event for them. And I want to just give all of our teachers a huge shout out because we are so short teacher subs right now. We're looking pretty good with our para subs, so that's exciting. So anybody out there knows people who would want to be a teacher sub, send them our way. That's all I have. Any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mary. All right, next we have IT, Bill Chambers.
Pretty short. And just put in the disposals of our devices from 2023 to 2026. That's why there's 13 pages of it. We are going to be moving forward with upgrading the network this summer. The firewall and switches in the server room and 2 switches on the end were already paid for by the cybersecurity grant through MDE. You learned about it earlier this year. They also paid about $14,000 worth of services this year that we normally pay every year. The rest of them are going to be covered under E-rate. We get E-rate for 5 years. We're going to spend probably around, the bids are going to be around $36,000. We'll pay about a third of that. So, and then we're going to be doing the move of our fiber from this room over to the server room. It runs right by the server room, so they're just going to shorten the cable, which will allow us to get the higher speeds that we are currently paying for. So, we're also going to upgrade the 1 gig fiber that goes from the server room to the pool closet. It's going to be a single mode fiber, which means we're going to start with 10 gigabytes, and then we can also upgrade to 25, 40, whatever that technology will handle at the time. The current technology is from probably around 2000 and was not, it was good for what it was at the time. So, and that's it.
All right.
Any
Appreciate it,
questions? Or?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bill.
All right, we'll adjourn at 6:22. 7 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I need a motion and a second to approve the February 23rd, 2026 meeting agenda.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Sonstegard. Second by Kay Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. We have a board presenter tonight. We have Matthew Hammer with Ellers.
Turn this on.
I think it is.
No, I turned it off. Can you hear me now?
No, there you go.
There it is.
Oh, back on. Okay, perfect. Good evening, everybody. Matthew Hammer, District's Financial Advisor from Ellers. We took sale of the district's bonds that were approved by voters in November, and we really have really good results to share from that sale this morning. So we ended up with a 3.21% interest rate. If you go back to the election, we were assuming at that time that our interest rate would be at 5% prior to the election. We had built some market cushion into that because we didn't want to be the low bidder when it came to the interest rates that we ended up receiving. And we ended up receiving 7 total bids, and you'll see those located in the bid tab. So the low bidder was Bank of Oklahoma out of Milwaukee. I know, Bank Oklahoma out of Milwaukee, but that was the low bidder. They offered a 3.21%. The cover bid was up from Baird out of Milwaukee. That was 3.22%, and then the high bidder was somebody that I hadn't seen. It was actually Brownstone Investments. So they offered a 3.35. So that's the first time I've seen them actually in a bid tab. So those were the 7 bids. Overall, the bidding spread was about 12 basis points, which is really good to see. That means we've got really good market rates today. And from where we're at overall, we're about $890,000 lower in interest costs than we were estimating prior to the election. We also received what we call a premium bid as part of the purchase, and that premium is going to allow us to put in about $164,000 more than pre-sale, or about a $5.3 million deposit to the construction fund. So we're assuming right now that deposit is $5,294,000 before any interest earnings that will be earned, that will be put into the construction fund as you start to pay invoices, but you don't need that money right now, right? So as we're setting up an investment schedule to mirror your need for construction costs or invoices that'll be paid, so that'll allow you to earn some interest in the meantime. That'll go into the construction fund and can be put towards other construction projects in the school district. So I think overall we're looking at really good news. We have the term matches, so it's a 14-year term, and then those debt service levies will stay at that same level that we communicated to voters until we have that subsequent drop, which right on that page you can see that starts in right before the final 4 years. So there's a reduction in the debt service levies that's planned, and that was planned during the election. So with that, we're going to close on the money will be in hand closed on March 19th. So that's when the official closing, those funds will come into the district's bank account on March 19th, which is about 3 weeks from now. And then those funds will be available to start paying construction costs, and then also being invested at the same time over that period of time until you actually finish up those construction projects. So with that, I can answer any questions folks have about the sale. I think what we've seen in the bond market is rates come down over the last, since the beginning of the calendar year, but even more so over the last couple weeks. So I think our timing was very good because we didn't necessarily want to be paying interest before we actually needed the money, and you guys are going to start to need that money as you get into your design and start paying construction this summer. So really good results.
Are they similar, are you seeing, I guess the answer is yeah, but are the rate that we received based on our rating, is that similar to what you're seeing from other sales
Yep.
right now?
Yep, and I forgot to mention where the rating is too, but yes, the market rates that we got today were right in line with what we were seeing last week for districts that had similar rating categories, so that means we're kind of right in spot with the market. Also taking competitive bids is an important thing, right? So Minnesota is a state that offers what we call credit enhancement. And in essence, what that means is it's kind of like bond insurance, right? The state of Minnesota would come in and pay the bonds on the school district's behalf if you couldn't for some reason make the payments. So that allows us to get lower market rates in the state of Minnesota. So that extra insurance, along with being a general obligation and you're securing these bonds with property taxes, makes them attractive investment for bondholders. So rates are in line. I think the competitive bids that you saw and that spread tells you they got really good market rates today. And the market kind of knew where the market was today. So you got the lowest rate that the market was going to offer today at 3.21%.
Are 7 bids higher than you're kind of anticipating? Or
we like to see at least 3. So that was good results. That is dictated by various factors. Your size isn't huge, right? So typically we don't see as many bids when you're offering a bond at a $5 million level. If you're offering a $100 million bond, you're going to get more bidders, but 7 bidders is a very good result. We like to see at least 3, so we doubled that. We had 6 initially signed up this morning, and then we picked up 1, the low bidder there, right before the bidding that took place at 9:30 this morning.
I'm just kind of curious on the process. How long does the bid stay open for? Is it just?
So the bids, the POS was marketed. It would have went to market it was marketed all last week. So the Thursday before was when it actually was posted to the markets. But typically what you see in the municipal market is people are looking to make these transactions where they look at the deal the week ahead and then they're making their bids this morning, right? Yep. So we're receiving bids right up to the last second when those bids close, and they closed at 9:30 this morning.
Well, good news, I guess.
It is really good news. Yeah. Yeah, but we're really pleased with the results, and I think with where we were sitting, right, if we were looking at where this was at when we were holding the election and we were putting the pre-election estimates last summer, rates came down quite a bit since then. So we're in a much better spot, which is why we had a higher interest rate projection going into pre-election, right, because we didn't necessarily know where rates were going to go pre-election. But those rates today that we were able to offer or able to secure through the competitive sale were much lower than what was estimated prior to the election. And it's going to save about $890,000 compared to what we were assuming pre-election. So that's a really outstanding result. There is a call feature on this, so those bonds will be callable starting 2/1 or February 1 of 2034 and thereafter. At that point in time, the district would be able to look to refinance the remaining maturities, which is something that we're always monitoring, and we've been able to do here over the last number of years when rates were lower on some of the older outstanding bonds that the district had.
So you said it was March 19th, funds get deposited.
Yep, March 19th, 2026.
I just hope to understand what is your continued role then moving forward?
Yeah, so we're going to act as the investment advisor on the bond proceeds. So we've actually already been in discussions with the district and Krause Anderson and your folks that are going to be helping with construction, because it's important for us to understand what your construction and cash need is as we go forward. And then based on that draw schedule, we're putting together a laddered investment strategy to maximize the investment earnings that, because you can still earn interest revenue, right? And it's important for us to look at that construction schedule and try to maximize that interest revenue that you can have, and those can go to take care of needs that the district has at the same time. So we know there's going to be a pretty significant amount of work that'll happen this summer, but some of that work's going to not happen until the subsequent summer. So when we look at it, that investment strategy, some of those funds that aren't needed immediately will be put to work with longer term investments to kind of guarantee rate of return over that life of the construction project. And then as we go forward, right, we're your financial advisor, so we're always monitoring these bonds for refinancing opportunities and other debt that you guys have. We handle your continuing disclosure. You are obligated by the markets to provide information to the markets through a website that's called MSRB. We handle all those filings for you on an annual basis that are required and are required by the markets when you hold outstanding bonds as a municipal entity.
Is there different risk levels for the investments?
Everything will be done within state statute, and I mean, we're looking at safety, security, and liquidity, right? I mean, that's kind of the motto, is you don't want to, when you need the money to pay these bills. So that's the lens that we take when we're looking at investment strategy. So there's always risk, right, when you're doing investments, but the risk is going to be very minimal.
All right. Any other questions?
Nope.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Appreciate you coming.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Any written communication? Old business? Okay, on to new business. I need a motion and a second to approve the January 26, 2026 regular board meeting minutes and the February 9th, 2026 special board meeting minutes.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Kay Johnson,
I'll second.
second by Hayes. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion and a second to approve the invoices, financial statements, bank reconciliation, wire transfers, and purchase card statements.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Severs,
I'll second.
second by Sonstegard. All in favor, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Now we are going to drop down to N.
Or we can, okay.
Okay, we're going to drop down to N now. Need a motion and a second to approve resolution 2025-2026-15 awarding the sale of the general obligation school building bonds series 2026A in the original aggregate principal amount of $5 million, fixing their form and specifications, directing their execution and delivery, and providing for their payment.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Sonstegard,
I'll second.
second by Kay Johnson. Any discussion? All right, Jerem Hack, yay. Craig Severs.
Aye.
Robin Sonstegard.
Aye.
Kayla Johnson.
Aye.
Nate Hayes.
Aye.
Boyd is gone. Motion carries. Need a motion and a second to approve the resolution 2025-2026-16 to open custodial accounts with the Piercing Advisor Solutions LLC and engage Ehlers Investment Partners as investment advisor.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Kay Johnson,
I will second.
second by Severs. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, now back to
C.
C. Need a motion and a second to approve the appointments of Amber Roberts as a paraprofessional.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Sonstagard,
I'll second.
second by Hayes. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion and a second to approve the 2025-26 staff seniority list.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Kay Johnson,
I'll second.
second by Sonstagard. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Motion is, need a motion and a second to approve the 2025 through 27 nurse contract.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Severs, second by Hack. Any discussion?
No, I had made a note to, or not a note, I had made mention to Scott that there's a 0 omitted from the annual healthcare.
From the healthcare, and after you told me that, I did go in and update the contract with that 0 in the proper place.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion?
No, I thought, never mind. I thought you took a breath like you were gonna say something earlier. Okay. Okay.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Motion is second to approve the post-insurance compliance policy and procedures.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Kay Johnson,
I'll second.
second by Hayes. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, need a motion and a second to approve the correction to the 2025-2027 LWEM contract Appendix B.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Kay Johnson, second by Hack. Any discussion?
And that was just to, like, a line was omitted, right?
Yes, with the updated contract, or the new contract, in the process of going from the red line, there was one line that was omitted for 6th grade band, so that's been updated to reflect what had been agreed upon.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Need a motion and a second to approve the disposition of 2 Vulcan tilt cook tables.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Sonstagard,
I'll second.
second by Hayes. Any discussion?
This is in the kitchen, obviously, or?
I'm assuming yes.
Yes, there are two, they call them a tilt table. It's basically a big rectangular pot that can be used for cooking soups or a variety of things, and then it tilts to pour out into serving bins. They are original to when the school was built and are beyond repair at this point. The grant was put in for and received, and a replacement table has already been purchased. So that was, the cost of a new one was totally covered by a grant.
Nice. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Motion and a second to approve to change the school board meeting start time from 7 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. or immediately following the working session, whatever is later.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Kay Johnson,
I'll second.
second by Severs. All right, any discussion? So, just so everybody knows, this, we talked with MSBA, and we can set the time sooner to be closer to the end of our working session, so that we can start earlier. The only thing that we need to make sure is that the public knows that we are going to be starting at a certain time. So if it's either if it goes past 6:45, we start it immediately after that, and or we have to wait till 6:45 at that point in time, so that the public can be here for the board meeting. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2025-2026-12, accepting a donation of $1,000 from the Lakewood Regional Healthcare Foundation for the school forest.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Severs,
I'll second.
second by Kay Johnson. Any discussion?
Just as we had talked about in our school forest committee meeting, it's much
No.
appreciated.
Yep, thank you.
Is this all for the hammock?
If I recall, it's, yeah.
Yep, I
The fund's
recall.
gonna be directly for, I believe it was the hammock, yep. And I'm getting the confirmation there, because I'm just making sure I don't want to misspeak on it. Yeah.
Yep,
No, it's gonna go a long ways, and we really appreciate it.
yep. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion and a second to approve Resolution 2025-2026-13, accepting a donation of $500 from North Star Operation Roundup for the school forest.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Kay Johnson, second by Hack. Any discussion? Thank you, North Star.
Yes, thank you.
Just the same verbiage.
Yep,
Appreciate it.
yep, much appreciated. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion and a second to Resolution 2025-2026-14, accepting a donation of $2,150 from Wickstrom for Lake of the Woods School.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Kay Johnson,
Second.
second by Sonstegard. Any discussion? Same
Yeah,
thing there.
Thank you to Wickstrom.
Yes.
Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion and a second to approve the membership and contract with the Southwest Central Service Cooperative for the Student Data Privacy Program. Motion by Hack,
I'll second.
second by Hayes. Any discussion?
Is this new or what have we been doing or?
Yes, it's an annual contract, and, yeah, so we're continuing the same service.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Other business? We will adjourn at 7:24 PM.